Hello everyone, it's finally time for a new Olympian Knights devlog. For those who don't know, it's a Greek mythology based multiplayer third-person dueling / fighting game I'm working on. As always, I'll go through some of the changes since the last devlog. Also just be aware, I might not be able to go through everything chronologically, since I made the last devlog quite a while ago and I'm no longer sure when I did what in between that time frame. So to start with, I worked quite a bit on user interface. I added this main menu, and I added a nice button animation that looks like this when you click on a button. There's also hover and click sound effects. I also added an in-game menu, and a settings menu which works both in-game and in the main menu. Some features still have to be implemented, but most settings like for instance key rebinding or screen resolution already work. The field of view slider is one of my favorites, since you can do funny things like this with it. Actually, you can't go that extreme with the slider, since the slider is limited between two certain values. But you can bypass that with a chat command I added, and basically do shit like this. Okay, I mean this is kind of useless, but at least with the more realistic values from the slider, you can really change the feel of the gameplay. I also made the third person camera affect the player rotation a bit more smoothly. I ran into some issues like this, and then the camera collision stopped working properly. But when I came back to the game like 3 months later, I luckily managed to fix it all, and it now feels a lot smoother than before. At some point I decided to scrap client-side prediction and the whole server authoritative movement stuff, simply because it just kept causing issues. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten it to work, but I just didn't feel like spending another half a year just on client-side prediction. If the movement was a bit simpler, I would probably still go for client-side prediction, but in Olympian Knights, like there's so much affecting the movement, animations, launches, where the distance to your opponent is important, and your opponent will always be at a slightly different position on the server than on your client, and yeah, that just causes mismatches and bullshit all the time, so I'm kinda tired of that. So it's all client authoritative now, at least everything movement related, hit detection and stuff like that is still server authoritative, and I'll really try to keep it that way since we don't want to make hacking too easy either. I also completely rewrote the combat system and changed a lot of things in the animation controller. The core principles are the same, but I tried to make everything a bit more cleaner, and the changes I made in the animation controller were basically to make the animation transitions look more natural, and thereby also make the gameplay feel more natural and less awkward. And while being at it, I also made a lot more new animations. Hecate now has her own attack animation cycle consisting of 5 animations. Zeus and the others also got 3 new attack animations added to their cycle. Currently Zeus, Poseidon and Hades all share the same animation cycle, but Poseidon and Hades will soon get their own attack animation cycle as well. I also added a launch animation. For now it's just one, but sooner or later I plan to make it so that the game selects a fitting animation based on which foot of the character is in front. I also added this jump launch animation, which I announced in the last devlog I think. So in general I managed to make the feel of the gameplay a lot more natural with all this, which also was my main goal. However, I'm still not fully satisfied and I'll definitely try to improve it further in the future. And yes, I should probably also rework the ragdoll system. So I decided it was time to add stamina.
Hey, warum? Ich hab die ich kann nicht blocken. Hey, warte mal.
Attacking, riposting and deflecting enemy attacks will drain stamina, and successfully parrying someone will give you some stamina back. Stamina will of course also regenerate when not blocking and not attacking. With stamina I also added name tags where you also can see the other player's health and stamina. Name tags will show up if the other player is close to you, or if you're directly aiming at him regardless of the distance. I also added a little kill confirm UI thingy. I'll probably give it a cooler animation in the future though. I also added death ragdolls. For some reason these like to just fly away sometime after the other player died. Okay, let's move on to the fun stuff, character abilities. The first ability I added was Hecate's darkness effect. So basically Hecate just waves her hand and the opponent gets his vision clouded by darkness, I guess you could say. Then I added this magic pull ability, basically just pulling the opponent towards you. For now I gave this ability to Hecate and Poseidon, but I might give it to other characters instead in the future, depending on balancing and stuff. Then I made this ability for Hades, which I called Unleashed. It's kind of inspired by Heroic Might or Repulse in Battlefront 2, and it basically just pushes every opponent inside a certain radius away. I think the particle effects look really cool, however they are really not working properly and definitely need an overhaul. By the way, if someone out there has an idea how to fix this clipping bullshit, please let me know. I then started working on a weapon spin ability for Poseidon. The inspiration here is from Aquaman and Grievous' Unrelenting Advance, I guess. I'm not quite there yet when it comes to the visual effects. When it comes to the animation, it looks okay, I guess. The ability basically just auto-parries every player that tries to attack you from in front. At least that was the plan. It also protects you from frontal attacks and deals tick damage. That's basically the idea of the ability. It might need some fine-tuning though. The last thing I added for now was a weapon throw. And yes, I know it would probably make more sense if Poseidon would throw his trident with these 3 prongs, I think they're called, in front. But I'll leave that for now, since it's quite a pain to get working, for reasons I don't even want to get into in this devlog. I could probably make a whole rant video about that. Anyways, the idea of the ability is you obviously throw your weapon. After some time, or if it hits something, it will return to you and deal damage on both ways. It's blockable, but just like in Battlefront, you need to block the direction it's coming from. This ability also needs some fine-tuning and improvements, and some bug fixes for remote clients. One idea I had to make the weapon throw look a bit cooler was to just let the weapon spin all the way, but it's something I'll have to experiment with, and I think it might not suit a trident to just spin while it's been thrown, but for something like a dagger throw, I think that could work really nicely. I also want to make at least one water ability for Poseidon, but I'm kinda struggling here since I'm really not that good with visual effects yet, but it's something I really want to add. Like at least one good water ability for Poseidon. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything for this devlog. Don't forget to wishlist Olympian Knights on Steam. That could really help me out a lot, so I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, shit, I need to work on the store page, it looks like shit. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!